Welcome everybody to the Snobs podcast interviews, and I'm joined today with Tucky Williams, writer, director, producer, and star of TV shows Dagger Kiss, Girl Scene, and an upcoming short Breaking Bella. Correct?
That's probably not going to come out, but.
Oh, okay. I was doing my research.
Yeah, that's just on the list. I decided not to release that one.
Okay. Well, I'm very excited. I saw your stuff on Amazon, and I'm very excited to talk to you. And I always like talking to filmmakers and kind of getting their process and things down, and how that works. And you've been doing this for what was it, about 10 years now?
Yeah. I think I started Girl Scene back in 2010.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And your show is 3 seasons in a movie right now, correct? And still ongoing.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride.
How is that process of wearing all of these different hats and producing the show? And this isn't even your show, correct?
It's a tremendous undertaking. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of stress, but when you love something, it's absolutely worth it.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit more about the show's premise and?
Yeah, the premise is it's about a group of lesbian friends and all of their antics and the drama, and it's kind of a comedy drama, so it's fun to watch, but it also deals with serious issues and just like what it's like to be a person and ups and downs of life.
Oh, perfect. All right. That's awesome. And you also did a TV show called Dagger Kiss, correct? And you also wrote you created, I'll just say created because there's so many hats and you started.
Aww. Thank you. Yeah, I did that one too. That was a surprise because that one I really just did because I thought it sounded fun and I thought it would be a good idea. I didn't think it would be a good idea financially at all, but I just did it anyway, and it turned out to be this really big hit on Amazon.
Nice.
I don't know why. If you look at it, I mean, it's like the most low budget thing you can ever see, but apparently it meant a lot to people, and you can't ask for anything more than that.
And that's a great response too, because I mean that to kind of wake up to that when you put something out there and you see such a great response, like that's got to be so rewarding within itself.
Yeah.
Now, Girl Scene has been receiving kind of the same, correct? Same accolades and going.
Oh, yeah, it's been doing great. I mean, it's always I think been well received by people just enjoy it. Always like, I mean, I think with the Girl Scene, the issue was like always people saying it wasn't realistic, but it's like it's all based on stuff that's actually happened in my life, and so I'm really like, well, just come follow me around with a camera. It's pretty realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's some people's arguments for a television show, then they have they've got too much time on their hands, I think.
Right.
Chemistry teachers don't actually start to sell meth.
Right.
No, with getting into the industry.
I like that. Sorry, that was a good one.
Thank you. With getting into the industry, was it your aspiration to mostly act or to direct or to get it? Like I said, you do a lot in this industry, so
I never intended to do this much. What I wanted originally was to act. I also really, really enjoyed writing. My main push was acting. And so then I was like, well, I wasn't getting parts I liked. And it's, people have often said about being an actor or actress is that your job is mostly just auditioning. And I didn't want to do that with my life. And also it wasn't like nothing good was happening. And I knew that the part I wanted to play was this character that I wrote, Evan, that's become sort of a tulpa, its own thing. I knew the kind of part I was looking for to play. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to write it and make it happen. So I wrote it, and I had, other people direct it and stuff. But really, over time, it just became apparent as things went on, that I was the one who was running everything. And then over time, you figure out you're the director and the showrunner and the executive producer and the line producer, that you're the one doing all of it. So it's like, if you told me in the beginning, oh, you're going to be directing, even that much, I would have gone, no, I don't want to do it. I don't for me. but because it was a slow thing, here's where I am.
Yeah, and I mean that's I have a lot of respect for people who can do it.
Oh, thank you.
I used to produce back many moons ago, and that was hard enough. So I couldn't even imagine doing all of it. and being the main actress in it.
Oh yeah, that's like at the bottom of the list now. It's like, oh wait, I have to act in here now. But,
so that's, I mean, that's great though. And are you, where are you located, if you don't mind?
I'm in Kentucky.
Oh, are you
Yeah,
from Kentucky?
I'm from Kentucky. I'm in Kentucky at the moment, and I shoot everything in Kentucky.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right.
Yeah, it's
Shoot
a
out.
lot cheaper.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's with everything going on in Hollywood these days, it's like you want to shoot anywhere else you can, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I read online that you started college at 15.
Yeah. Oh, you did your research. Cool. I love it. Yes, I did. I was 15, and I was just really bored and decided it would sound cool for the rest of my life to say that I went to college at 15. So I was like, okay, I'll just go do this.
Oh, that's awesome though. And you know, getting into that, like, was there when you started college, or when I guess when you finished college, was it still getting into acting? Was that what the main goal, or did it kind of grow from other experiences that you've had?
Well, I got a journalism degree, and through that I learned that I liked doing the weather. So I got a meteorology degree, and then right after and then I was on the air working, co-hosting a morning show, and being the meteorologist for the morning show. And then right after that, I got offered my first film role, and I took it, and then I never went back to meteorology.
Oh, what was your first film role?
Oh, it was in this movie called Shadows Light. That
Nice.
just not a good movie, you know. But it was the female lead in one of the two leads in the movie, so I thought it was a pretty big deal at the time.
Nice.
I was pretty excited.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I was there every day shooting, 12 hours a day, and more than that. But so I was really excited. I was like, yeah, this is my ticket.
That's awesome. And now, I mean, you're seeing. I read some of your awards and accolades, and girl scene is doing well. Best screenplay I see
Mm-hmm.
at the World Independent Film Expo, and you got is it After Ellen?
Yeah,
I was thinking Ellen. Is that what it is?
it's After Ellen.
Oh, and
AfterEllen.com. Yeah.
nice. Okay. So that's really awesome, and I'm glad to see it's doing well. So now, how has been? I did hear that there was a little bit of pushback with your show, and I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure.
If you could tell me a little bit more about what happens, with the responses to your show, and
Okay, well, the big horrible thing that happened was the response to the movie was that it came out, and whatever. It's kind of a shot to look like it was shot on Betamax, so that confused some people. It was also set in the 80s. Some people were confused about that, but overall, people liked it, and okay, it was going along. And all of a sudden, all these hate reviews started showing up on Amazon. And when I say hate, I don't mean hateful. I mean actually hate kind of hate, like racist, anti-Semitic, very anti-woman, homophobic, horrible, vile things that these comments were being left. And many times they were clearly by people who hadn't watched the movie. And even some of them said they hadn't watched the movie. And then it started getting really low rating. They would give it 1 star, even though they hadn't watched the movie, and they'd write these epic, 7-paragraph reviews about, and they even said that it said bad things about the president. And I can assure you, the president wasn't ever mentioned. I mean, it just had nothing to do with politics, the current politics at all. And they were saying that it was, anti the president, anti this, and they said it was a fascist film. I'm like, do you even know what that word means? And it just wasn't what the movie was about. So they were giving it 1 stars, and they were going on IMDb and giving it 1 stars and terrible reviews. One review that IMDb posted as a legitimate review was a man who said that he had been tempted and tricked into watching it because, I personally had promised him that it was going to show women having sex in it, and then that didn't happen. The main complaint was that it was a lesbian movie, and they were angry because it didn't show women having sex in it. And they were infuriated. Apparently that was really challenging to whatever minimal sense of masculinity they had.
Yeah, it's a shame that that has to happen. That was a topic on a previous show I had last week where we're talking about how people will go out and they'll have one bad experience or something like, whether it be at a restaurant or a movie theater or something, and then they'll have never left a review for anything in their life, but they will leave one bad review for having one bad experience. And I hate to see it even more when it comes to filmmaking and with films. My philosophy is anything I watch, I don't like to think of it as bad. Well, I like to think of them either as great or I enjoyed it. Like I don't want to think of something as bad. That's not to say that things don't come out that maybe don't.
Yeah, there are some bad movies.
There are, and like
there just are. That's okay.
Every time I bring this up, everybody says the same thing. It's like, well, there's some bad movies. I'm like, yeah, I know, but there's always merit in something. I think there's always something you can look at, like maybe it was shot a certain way, or the lighting you enjoyed, or the acting, or whatever.
That's true.
I've always walked away from everything at least looking for something, and I try to
That's great.
Push that forward when I'm talking to other people as well who watch movies, and I'm like, you can say it was bad and you hated it, but there was nothing about it you liked. You're talking about it,
Right. Well, that's what I meant when I said that some movies are bad. It's like I do try to say positive stuff about all the movies I see. Sometimes it is really hard with a certain movie, but like you said, there was some movie I saw recently that I just really didn't like, whatever, right? And I thought there's at least one person that this movie means more to them than anything. Mm-hmm. And you'll never know who it is. But this person goes home and watches it every night, and they think about it, and for some reason it's touched them in a deep way. And I say one person, but there are probably many people like that. So for every one of these terrible movies, it's meant a great deal to someone, and I would never want to diminish that in any way.
Yeah, and that's why I hate personally. Now I'll say I hate the people who go out and just try to tear things down, especially in the film industry, because people who watch movies don't generally understand what it takes to make one. And
no,
how hard,
no.
To them, it's like, oh, you've made a movie. Everybody makes a movie. Like, no. If everybody made a movie, you'd have YouTube. It's basically what it comes down to. It's a hard process, and it takes dedication and
yeah, the thing is, as soon as a movie or whatever I do wraps, like the next day on social media, I'll get on there and people will be like, when's it coming out?
Yeah.
I'm like, in a year.
Yeah.
When's it coming out? Like, oh, we just filmed it all. That's all you had to do, right? Was just record it like with your camera, right? Yeah. That's all you had to do, and now it's done.
Oh, it's amazing to me. So like when I read a lot of these reviews, and my biggest factor for that is I've met film reviewers who won't even watch a movie and they have something bad to say. It's already a preconceived notion. So,
yeah.
I always feel like don't ever walk into anything with a preconceived notion, any project, because it's.
Well, yeah, that would be really applicable in this case.
And that's why hearing your story, I was like, this is ridiculous, and I want to shine a light on your project and get more people watching it and get real ratings up. Not these fake ones that are popping out and, just
right.
Especially, homophobia, being the case, that's what it comes down to. And
these sites really should go through all these reviews. And if there's actual hate speech in them, they should delete it. And they should delete whatever rating was given to it. They don't do that. This is stuff, Canada has different laws. If this stuff were posted anywhere in Canada, that would be a crime. It would be criminal. But here, it's not illegal, but these companies can't even be bothered to say, hey, this is anti-woman. This is really sexist, or this is really homophobic. Maybe we shouldn't have these people and be promoting them on our website.
I 100% agree with you. And but I am encouraging anybody listening to go out there and actually, leave reviews. I'm not even saying positive. Maybe you didn't like something, but leave a real review. Mm-hmm. Not a hate, like you said, not a hate-filled review, but like leaving real reviews means something, because I think every filmmaker can at least appreciate good criticism. A good critique that, is like, okay, well, if you didn't like this, maybe, you know, maybe I'll think about that some more or something next time we're shooting something.
Yeah, sure.
You know, when, yeah, so like that's what I try to encourage people to do, especially with this. And I want everybody to check out Girl Scene, the movie, the show, Dagger Kiss. But I also wanted to ask you some of your influences in filmmaking, especially like who did you turn to watching while you were getting into the director's mind and the writer's mind?
I've been asked this question a lot throughout my career, and then only really recently did I realize what the real answer to this was, is that when I was very, very, very young, I went to a Spike Lee lecture.
Nice.
This was back when there were newspapers, and I saw this listing. It said Spike Lee, you know, lecture. I was like, Spike Lee. I mean, I've never seen any of his movies. I was too young. I was like, you know, he's a big deal director. I want to go see him. So I told my mom, and she took me, and that was where I learned everything I needed to know about filmmaking. Was as a little girl hearing Spike Lee talk for about 2.5 hours, you know, and then I went up to him and said hi, and I don't know, I like to think that, I mean, he gave me a look, you know what I mean? He gave me this look, and I like to think that he knew I was gonna grow up and raise hell one day.
That's awesome. You know, and you can't get many directors that will inspire you better, like inspire you more like than him. He's just so good. Everything he does, all his performances are fantastic. So that's a great choice to kind of not emulate, but you know, inspire you to go forward and be a hellraiser, as like you say. That's the best way to do it, and that's the best way to get your name out there. So were you a big fan of films growing up, or
Oh, sure, sure. I saw as many as I could as a kid. I'd go to every weekend with my dad, and then I'd go every weekend with my mom, and it's just been a regular thing to watch. I think I've seen every movie that's ever come out since I've been born. And I mean, I have so many influences. I mean, Spike, of course, and that was the main one. Him talking about his difficulties in making Malcolm X. Uh, Basically, I learned a lot from him, but one of the main things I learned from him was just what a horrible, horrible experience it was to be making a very, very important film about, I mean, about Spike Lee. I mean, there's this figure who's of great importance, and nobody wanted to put any money into it. And it seemed just like everybody was trying to put up a roadblock to stop this movie from getting made. And so having that in my brain at a very early age really just prepared me, like, oh, that's the filmmaking process. So every step of the way, I'd known that something horrible was going to happen, that I was going to be discriminated against no matter what. I mean, in my case, it was because I was a woman. I mean, the gay thing too, but mostly because I was a woman. And I've had that knowledge that that's what was coming. And so it was like, yeah, this is part of it. Just get used to it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I can't even imagine. Like I'm a white man, so like it is hard, you know, with privilege to imagine, like, you know, I discuss it with my wife, especially, and just kind of like hardships and things like that, being a woman, and friends of color who, you know, we discuss that as well, especially with everything going on in the world. And it's a matter of gaining new perspective and learning and trying to be supportive as best you can. And that's, you know, what I hope to be. You know, I try to be, especially with this platform. So
yeah, that's what you're doing now, is you're talking about, you know, these people who, you know, expect women to perform sexually for them. You know, these men, they just think that that's what women exist for, or what lesbians exist for, that they can't exist autonomously, that the only reason a lesbian would exist is to entertain a man. Yeah. And this fury that that's not the case. So you are helping, because we're talking about this, that's a thing that's out there, apparently a pretty big thing, and we need to raise awareness about it.
Yeah, and I was talking about it with a friend of mine who I do another podcast with, a filmmaking podcast, and we were off air, so we were thinking about maybe doing something on air about this discussion. And I started out as a writer like about 20 years ago, and worked in the industry for a little while. And my problem was, I don't have a problem with sex scenes. I don't, if they're warranted, but if you're writing them just to write them, and every time I see a movie now, especially a lot of indie movies, it's like they're just added, and I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, but you're taking away from the story. Like, if it works, if it's a love scene, and I understand why it's in there, you know, like there's a French film, Irreversible, starring Monica Bellucci, and there's a rape scene in it, and it's a very hard watch. And at times when you're watching that movie, you're like, why was the scene in there? But it's the crux of the entire story. It propels every action that goes forward. So it's a true story, and it's there for a purpose, to be a hard to watch scene. And I try to explain that to people who are kind of coming up and, ask for, some mentorship and stuff in filmmaking. And I'm like, when you're writing, don't just add things to add things. And that's not just sex scenes, that's anything. Violence, certain dialogue, things like that. Just, I'm always trying to say, like, you can add things that you think are cool, but make them make sense in the story. And I don't know, sex scenes or nudity scenes, things like that just always pop up. And I'm like, if it doesn't make sense to the story, I don't care. It makes sense in a movie like Body Heat. It doesn't make sense in your indie horror film.
Oh yeah, they're just bad too. They're very awkward and they don't make sense, and people seem uncomfortable, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
it takes you out of the movie because you just see these actors having a horrible time.
And you appreciate.
Or you see the bro filmmaker who's like, I'm gonna put a sex scene in here.
And there's no point, and you can appreciate this as a writer. When you're writing something, if you're just writing a scene in there just because you think it will be cool, or just because you want to have it in there for some reason, it's got to drive you crazy. Like it's got to, when you see that in other people's things. Yeah. So it bothers me even more that, watching your projects, people are putting up all this hate messaging because they're not getting what they want, which is ridiculous within itself. Mm-hmm. It's a ridiculous concept within itself. Appreciate art for what it is. And appreciate the artist who put it out there and sacrificed and bled for it, So that's, sorry, I know I pontificate a little bit.
No, I couldn't agree with you more.
That's just kind of how I feel. And I wanted to possibly have a topic like that on one of my shows, just so that way, get word out there some more,
Yeah.
But to go back to acting real quick, I know we talked about your influences on, with the directing side of things, but through acting, what's some actors who inspired you?
Oh, wow. Nobody ever asks me that. I don't have anything off. Wow. There's no pat answer there. I would say the actors who are very minimal in their performances, the actors who go unnoticed. Okay, the first one that pops into my head is Jeanette Goldstein, who played Vasquez in Aliens.
Yes. Oh, she was great. And in Predator.
Okay, here's my response to her. There's acting, and then there's becoming a different human being.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows, like, what she's she's like, she does nothing like that.
No. Yeah, because if you look at, like I said, you look at Predator 2, or you look at Near Dark, her character in Near Dark, like she's different in everything. You're right.
Yeah, and then she's the Irish mom in the Titanic. A lot of people don't know that.
Yes. Oh my God, I didn't even remember that.
Yes. I want to say her. I want to say she's my hero.
That's a great pick. Well, I would have never thought that, and she is such a great pick because every time you think, Running Man. Look how great she was in the Running Man.
She was in Running Man?
Yeah. She was what's her name? She was in there with, I can't think of it. I'm terrible with character names.
Okay.
She was with Arnold in that.
Okay.
She was one of the runners. I guess I should say.
Oh, I think you're thinking of Maria Conchita Alonso.
She's in it. She's not just not her. She's also in it.
Maybe, okay, I didn't know that.
I know she's in it, but I don't think
I didn't know that. Okay, I've got to look it up now. I mean, that's the thing about her. She'll be in a movie and you'll have absolutely no idea.
Because was Maria Conchita Alonso also in Total Recall?
No, that was Rachel.
Total Recall.
Rachel Ticotin.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, see, but that's a great choice, and I like that.
Thank you. And you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. That's great.
Absolutely, and oh my God, especially the Vasquez role you go with. The Aliens is my favorite in the bunch. So that's a great.
Your favorite what?
Favorite in the Alien series.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. Period.
Nice, very good choice. Which leads me to my next question, and it's one I've been kind of throwing out there a lot lately because I'm so interested to hear everybody's response. Top 5 remote droppers. If you're watching TV and it's on TV, where no matter where it is, you're dropping the remote and you're just watching that.
So this is not favorite movies. This is just remote droppers.
Just remote droppers. Doesn't have to be favorite.
Okay, the last one I dropped was Casino.
Oh, good choice.
I mean, that's my favorite Scorsese film is Casino. I can watch that over and over and over again. Remote dropper. Jackie Brown.
Oh, another good
Whatever you're doing, you got to stop and watch Jackie Brown. I mean, this is one I actually don't turn the channel onto this because I know it won't end, is Pulp Fiction.
Nice.
I mean, I'm trying not to think of my favorite movies. I'm just trying to think of the ones I stopped for. I mean, I don't want to say that Showgirls. I can go into that.
Very underrated. Very underrated.
Showgirls I always watch. Gosh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's tough too because you know what?
I mean, Pineapple Express, I guess.
Nice. Okay.
If I have to pick one. I mean, because I feel like Alien. Like I was thinking of other movies I really like Aliens or Terminator 2, and it's like, no, that's an event movie. Yeah. I'm gonna sit down and watch that. But ones that I just have to stop, or those are some that pop into my head.
I'll tell you, it's refreshing because the #1 pick I've gotten from everybody is Shawshank Redemption. Everybody says they stop at Shawshank Redemption, but this is finally I asked somebody, and it's not Shawshank Redemption, so I will give it to you. Nice.
Okay, great.
No, it's a good choice. I like to hear different things, different styles, and you're definitely, I'm guessing, big fan of Tarantino.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite Tarantino film?
Jackie Brown.
Really? Low key. I like it. I mean,
that's the best. I mean, that's one of the best films ever made, and I think it's doesn't get the attention it deserves is because, and he says this, you have to watch it about 3 times before you actually understand what's happening.
Oh, I agree.
The movie isn't about the plot. It's about hanging out with those characters. So if you're sitting there trying to figure out what's going on, you're just going to get, you're just going to get caught up and not really pay attention to what's happening. But if you're hanging with them, if you're quoting them, that's my favorite. That's my favorite of his movies and my favorite of all time.
Hi. Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, one of my favorites of all time. I don't want to say it's my favorite movie, but I'm close to saying it's my favorite movie.
Very cool choice.
Yeah.
So going forward, what are some projects that you are looking to write, or even direct or produce yourself, or anything, even genre-wise, you can let us know?
Genre-wise, well, I have another Dagger Kiss movie coming out, so that's coming out soon. It's ready to go. I actually just need the poster art for it, and then I can put it out. That's all I have right now. Right now, things are on hold. Yeah. So all I can do is write and kind of process and watch movies and wait for things to come around again.
What's a genre you would love to make a movie in?
Well, I love fantasy, of course. So Dagger Kiss. I love science fiction too.
Nice.
And a genre I would really like is movie I'm not directing.
That's fair. That's very fair.
I would love to be in. I got to be in someone else's movie last year. It was so great. It was like, wait, all I have to do is show up and act. All I have to do is like stand here and talk. This is great. I love being in other people's movies.
Oh, that's it. Well, don't worry. I have plenty of filmmakers who watch the show, so maybe I'll tell them to reach out to you.
Yes.
Especially, I'm in Virginia, so they're all around this area anyway. So
okay.
That works then. No, yeah, that's awesome. I would love to see. You gotta give us a sci-fi movie. Come on.
Those are expensive. I mean, that's the reason I like fantasy is I can just kind of find a forest and go out there and make that happen. Fantasy, sci-fi, you gotta like how would you even do that without spending a fortune? I'm trying to figure that out still.
Hey, write it up and see what you got.
Yeah, all right. I'll try to come up with something.
But yeah, I am very happy to hear about your success and to see everything that's going on, and with all, I'm just in amazement of all the hats that you wear, because I know how hard producing is. I've directed. I know how hard that is. That's why I didn't want to do it. And you are acting in it and you are writing it as well. So that's so much to take on, and your stuff looks really good.
Oh, thank you.
Which you don't see a lot in independent work. And not to put anything down, I don't think a movie has to look great in order for it to be a good movie. But you are at least adding that element, which is awesome.
Thank you. Well, I have a lot of help and a lot of great people working with me.
That's awesome. And I really appreciate you coming on the show. And we'd love to have you anytime. We do live shows, pre-recorded shows, anything like that. So if you ever want to jump on, we're always talking to film.
Anytime. Yeah, it's great to talk to someone who knows film with such an encyclopedic knowledge as you.
I try. I'm trying to keep up with it all the time, but it is always great to discover new things. So I'm very happy to have you on the show and to meet you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I look forward to the next Dagger Kiss movie.
All right.
Get that up there so we can see it. And then, yeah, again, thank you so much. Tucky Williams, is there anything that you want to promote, social media or anything like that? Or
you can find me at Tucky Williams. That's my handle on everything. And yeah, you can go to tuckywilliams.com or girlgirlscene.com.
Perfect. All right. And those links will be in the descriptions for the video and the podcast. So please check them out today. And it's available on Amazon. So look forward to talking to you again, Tucky. Thank you so much.
Yeah, me too.